Hi, everybody. This is George Bombalier of Teachers Craft, and I'm also a fellow educator like many of you out there. And today's video segment, I want to discuss a little bit about how the Consultant Directory Service, or the CDS for short, can actually work for you to really boost your income in a really big way. And whether you're working as a K through 12 school teacher, or you're in support services, you're an administrator, or maybe you're working in private practice as a consultant already, I'm going to explain how the CDS can really help you make that big extra income that ordinarily, as educators ourselves, the first thing oftentimes we think about making extra income is either tutoring or working in some remote part-time job somewhere. But this CDS is completely different and really special in that sense. And if you can just give me just a few minutes of your time, I assure you, you guys are going to get blown away with the concept. And I really think that if you align your minds with the idea of how you can work as an educational consultant, it just changes everything. Literally, it's a game changer in many different ways. And that's what I'm going to set out to do in this video. And I hope you guys can catch on to it because it's really special. Let's first start with what I left off in the last video, which was about you working as an educational consultant. Many of you are already working as teachers, and that is your role. Your role is a classroom teacher. But oftentimes you don't realize, and this is where everything completely changes, that in that role as a teacher, you're already working as an educational consultant. And the real weird thing about it is that we don't get identified in the workplace oftentimes as an educational consultant. And that's that part as a teacher and as an educational consultant that we are fused together in our roles in our jobs. And so when we work on a day-to-day basis in our classrooms, in our schools, we are mostly known as educators. We're teachers. But in reality, we're just as much an educational consultant as we are teachers. And so it's just a matter of aligning ourselves to that thought that we are fused together with that title into one role. In fact, in my 34 years of teaching in the classroom, up until this day, I cannot tell you the last time anyone has ever called me an educational consultant within the building of my school. And that's often the case in many instances with teachers. We're just not mentally aligned with the thought of being educational consultants. But the reality is, the moment you step out of your classroom and you serve in a meeting, or you run a professional development service, or you're attending to parents, or you're in some kind of professional development seminar, you are an educational consultant. When you are planning, when you are organizing your lessons, when you are evaluating assessments, you are performing the role of an educational assessment. So when you start thinking yourself as both an educator, as a classroom teacher, and an educational consultant, all of a sudden things start to clear up in terms of how you can use this educational consultant idea to be able to take this into the community and use your services in order to boost your income. Now, as a teacher myself, I realized this several years ago. Actually, it's been quite a while. It's been more like 10 years ago, because I've been working also as a consultant. And I realized that as soon as I understood that, to align myself as an educational consultant in addition to being a classroom teacher, I mean, it was a total game changer, because it's not a question of, like, sometimes people ask me about, oh, how, can I really be an educational consultant? And the answer is absolutely yes. And the reason why I know this is because you are already doing it. I'm already doing it. Many of us are already doing it as teachers. So it's not a question of whether you can do it. It's a question of understanding that you are doing it. And it's just a matter of identifying those parts of your role as an educator that serve as an educational consultant that you can literally take apart and use it to be able to work as an educational consultant in the community. So that's where I'm going to take us in this video. And what I'm going to do first, our first task now, is I first want to identify, once you align yourself with the idea of already being an educational consultant, it'll be a matter of just enlightening you as to what kinds of things you can do, right, that you're already doing, and then just looking at it in a different light so that you can finally realize that all you need is an opportunity to serve as an educational consultant and work in that capacity. And you'll see how everything starts to align around that idea. So let's jump right in. We'll go ahead and get started and we'll jump right into the kinds of things that you are already doing and you can do. And it's just a matter of just identifying what they are. And then at that point, we can start seeing how things can develop out so that you can use the consultant directory service to actually work in the community as an educational consultant. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's jump right in here. So here are some examples of educational consulting jobs that I am really confident that most of you can already do. And here's the first example of school choice consulting here. And in school choice consulting here, you can actually see that in many instances, a lot of parents is in the community with all the movement towards school choice. Now, school choice is not just moving to private schools or charter schools, it's also school choice within public schools themselves. There are a lot of open enrollment districts that where parents need a lot of help deciding from school A to school B, whether it's magnets, academies, or what have you. So school choice doesn't always mean moving out of public school into charters or privates. It's sometimes it's moving within public schools themselves. And parents and families and many people in the community actually need help making decisions like that for themselves and also for their kids. So school choice consulting is a pretty big umbrella of an area, and there's a lot of areas of school choice consulting you can actually specialize in. And microschooling, homeschooling are two big examples right now that are actually taking off in many different areas. You can become a microschool consultant specialist, or you can become a homeschool specialist for people who are deciding to educate their kids at the homeschool. There are micro schools. There are different types of micro schools that are opening up and different hybrids. You can actually serve as a consultant to help them set up with curriculum. You can actually set up with instructional design. You can actually help them in the process of assessments or all of the other types of services that you can provide as an educational consultant is something along the lines of your professional specialization. On the other side here, we have mentoring and coaching here in the middle. Mentoring and coaching. Now, folks, here as itself, if you ever mentored fellow teachers, especially beginning teachers, there's a big need for that in the school settings themselves. When it comes to mentoring, it's something that if you there are a lot of these jobs that can be done remotely as well as in person, but if you prefer remotely, it's something that you can opt to do as well. For coaching educators, you can also be a coach. Now, for coaching, it's also really good because what's good about coaching is that you can actually coach other educators into transitioning into educational consulting. So that's also a very, very big thing. And like I said, this is not, Teachers Craft is really about helping teachers, especially find solutions to educational issues, and not just for teachers as well, but I should say also for community members, parents, individuals, and even businesses in the community. There are all kinds of educational services that we can provide, and Teachers Craft as a company, I founded the company on the basis of finding solutions, and teachers are one of the best members in the communities to help find solutions for a lot of these issues. And for our own issues, as far as like salary wise, it's not about making $1 million for teachers. This is about, in order to make a livable wage for instructors, and with the consultant directory service, teachers can choose how much money they want to make. They can make a part-time income, they can make a full-time income, they can go into a home-based businesses, or they can expand out and make a lot of money because again, it's a very flexible system of being able to go out there and become and work as a educational consultant. So it offers a lot of flexibility in order to do that. And as well as more examples here, you have business and organizational consulting. Okay, there are many businesses and organizations that need specific skills related to what you do in the classroom all the time. Specific software knowledge. There's also micro school management within corporate entities in the community. Also with nonprofits, they need a lot of instructional design help in order to get curriculums going, professional development. And then you also have freelancing skills. If you are good at a particular skill, regardless of what it might be, it could be even public speaking, you could have project planning experience, you could have writing experience, marketing experience, anything that you're really, really good at that either helps you at work or something that you might even do as a hobby. With the consultant directory service, you can actually showcase those skills and you can work in the community doing that. So you don't, in and all of this, you do not have to learn anything. Everything with the CDS, as far as how it works for you, is that you already know it. So you don't have to learn anything. You don't have to go and take any courses or anything like that. Everything that you do is based on what you already know. The only thing you have to do is just make the transition from being an educator to an educational consultant and understand that you have both these roles to do. You have both being as a teacher and as being an educational consultant or freelancer, depending on whether you want to market your skills. And it's just the ability to have the opportunity and the ability to be able to do this into the community. Now, there's also specialized consulting. Now, with specialized consulting, over here, if you know how to write grants, if you know how to find scholarships, if you can help parents with special needs children how to access resources, and there's all kinds of examples. And even as far as phone consultation, there are some consultants that I know personally that are just at home answering phone calls as a general consultant, as a general educational consultant, and they just all they do is they base their fees on the number of minutes that they're taking calls, and it works great for them. They are experts in education, and if it's a certain specialization that is in their field that someone is calling in about, then it's a perfectly great home-based business that brings in a substantial amount of income. So, there is a lot of things teachers can do, a whole lot of things teachers can do, and both not only privately, but also in the community as well. And it's just a matter of having an opportunity to be able to showcase these skills and use it, because at the end of the day, we're being paid as educators in classrooms, but the consultant part is really being lost in all of that, because although we're performing those roles in our own jobs, we don't realize that oftentimes, we're not being paid for that other 50% of our jobs. And that's the part that we have to market more and that we have to use. Some of us go to tutoring and we do that and we get some extra income doing that, but that's also in the instructional capacity. What I'm saying is that with the educational consulting capacity that we're already in, we're just not using enough of that. And that is where the big money comes in. Okay. And it's all about really being able to sustain our profession with a professional wage. See, I'm not sitting here advocating that teachers should be making millions and millions of dollars. However, you can make a lot of money using the CDS if that's what your goal is. But the whole idea here, guys, is to really the goal with Teachers Craft is to get a professional wage, and six figures is not out of the question. When you pair that with your day job, with your ambition with becoming an educational consultant with the CDS, and it is not out of the question. Okay, it is entirely doable. And the opportunity with what the CDS does, it provides a very, very easy, risk-free way of actually doing it. Let me give you some examples. For instance, with the CDS, number one, there is absolutely no risk at all. Since I'm the one that created it, as a teacher, I understand exactly how teachers think and what teachers need. Okay. And one of the things that we do not like is we don't like to take unnecessary risks, especially what we're doing with our jobs. So this is something that like a subscription to your streaming service. This is a stop and start whenever you want. And right now for a limited time, I'm just running this for free. So you don't even have to pay anything. So there is absolutely no risk at all. The other advantages with the CDS is that you can start slow. You can start really, really slow. You can start working with one client at a time or start taking in more clients as you feel fit. And as time goes on and your confidence grows a little bit, you can start increasing your workload. And, it's totally up to you. I mean, you pretty much set your own rules. And so with the CDS, obviously there is no coursework to take. You don't have to pay me for any classes or any courses and stuff like that, because what would you be paying for? You already know what to do. Like I explained to you a little earlier, you already are a consultant. So all you need to do is just get kickstarted into the certain business aspects of how to get started and running your business in the most comfortable way you want to start. And you're off in the running. You may need a little bit of coaching and a little bit of support help. And with the CDS, you'll get all of that with Teachers Craft. So I wanted to make sure that we're all supported, not only with coaching help, but also with the resource help from the site that I created. Because like I said, I've been there, I've done it, and I understand exactly what your needs were. But you don't need to learn anything. You already have everything you need in your head. Okay? So that's really, really important to remember. Now, let's just scroll down here. So basically, there are 3 steps. that we have to take in order to go ahead and start with consulting. Number one, you have to pick an area of specialty. Okay, and your area of specialty is something that we're going to talk more about in the next video. Okay, and the next thing you have to do is you'll have to get prepared to start working with your clients as well, because like I said, the CDS actually brings clients to you. We'll refer the clients to you, so you don't even have to worry about marketing or anything else. It's all done for you, and that's great because as teachers, we have no time to market or anything like that. And then the third thing is if you need help, if you need any kind of support of any kind, we're here for you. I will especially make sure that all my teachers and all my educators and all my support staff and everybody who uses the CDS will have enough support to get started with this. Okay, under no, like I said, no obligation or with zero risk and at no cost to you at this time right now. We're not even running any fee services associated with this service. So you'll get started, and everything as time goes on, your confidence gets better and better, and you'll be off and running in no time. So here it is as a wrap up. What we're going to do here is in the next video, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you just the very, very basic steps. All right. In order for you to get started, just the very, very basic steps that you're going to be able to need to just go ahead and enroll with the the consultant directory service, with the CDS service, and you should be off and running in no time. So then we'll cover that and a little bit more, and I'll try to answer some of your anticipated questions as we move through the next video. And I'd appreciate it if you can go ahead and share this video on social media and share it with everyone else. And then on the next video, I'll be seeing you there, and hopefully we'll be able to kickstart this going on and helping you start making some more money. Okay? Well, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.